Why does Capricorn keep climbing even when they're exhausted? Why does slowing down feel uncomfortable, almost irresponsible? And why does success never quite feel like enough? Capricorn is known as the most disciplined sign of the zodiac. Calm under pressure. Responsible. Reliable. The one people trust when things get heavy. So why does rest feel so dangerous to them? If you are a Capricorn, or if you've ever loved one, stay until the end. Because what you're about to hear explains why Capricorn keeps going long after they should have stopped, and why their greatest fear has nothing to do with failure itself. Capricorn doesn't fear hard work. They don't fear pressure. They don't even fear sacrifice. What Capricorn fears is collapse. Not public failure. Not embarrassment. But the moment everything they've built quietly falls apart. Capricorn is often admired for their strength. They are strategic, composed, and steady. The one who doesn't panic. The one who carries responsibility without complaint. The one who has it together. But that strength didn't come naturally. Somewhere early in life, emotionally, psychologically, or circumstantially, Capricorn learns a brutal equation. Worth equals productivity. Safety equals control. Rest equals risk. Maybe they had to grow up too early. Maybe they learned that no one was coming to rescue them. Maybe love felt conditional, tied to performance, achievement, or reliability. Whatever the source, Capricorn internalized one core belief. If I stop holding everything together, everything will fall apart. So Capricorn becomes the pillar. They take on responsibility before they're ready. They manage emotions by suppressing them. They turn chaos into structure. They learn to endure instead of express. Over time, control stops being a preference. It becomes survival. Capricorn doesn't ask, "How do I feel?" They ask, "What needs to be done?" This is why Capricorn is so effective, and so quietly exhausted. Their deepest fear is not failing once. Capricorn's deepest fear is failing after everything they've sacrificed. They fear that one moment of weakness could undo years of effort. That resting too long could make them replaceable. That slowing down could expose cracks they've worked their entire life to hide. So they keep going. Even when tired. Even when lonely. Even when the body sends warning signs the mind refuses to acknowledge. At a certain point, Capricorn stops noticing how tired they are. Not because the exhaustion disappears, but because it becomes constant. Fatigue becomes baseline. Stress becomes normal. Emotional numbness becomes stability. This is when Capricorn's discipline quietly turns into self-abandonment. They don't rest when they're tired. They rest only when they've earned it. And even then, rest feels tense. Guilty. Unproductive. As if slowing down might trigger the very collapse they fear. Capricorn begins to fear something deeper than failure. They fear that without their productivity, there is nothing left to love. That people stay because of what Capricorn provides, not who they are. That usefulness is the real currency of connection. So they keep being useful. Even when they are empty. This is the silent burnout of Capricorn, not dramatic, not explosive, but deeply isolating. They don't complain. They don't ask for help. They don't let the cracks show. And the world rewards them for it. Until one day, the weight becomes unbearable. In relationships, this fear becomes painfully quiet. Capricorn loves through responsibility, consistency, and loyalty. They show love by showing up, providing stability, and being dependable. They protect. They commit. They endure. But beneath that devotion lives an unspoken question they rarely admit, even to themselves. If I stop being strong, will you stay? Capricorn fears becoming a burden. They fear that vulnerability will change how others see them. That needing support will lower their value. So they carry their struggles alone. The tragedy is that Capricorn often feels most alone precisely because they are so capable. They become the person everyone leans on, while having no one to lean on themselves. And somewhere deep inside, resentment quietly grows. Not toward others, but toward themselves. For being human. For getting tired. For wanting rest. The turning point for Capricorn rarely comes from a dramatic collapse. It comes from a quiet realization that no amount of control has ever made them feel truly safe. That no level of achievement has ever guaranteed peace. That the finish line keeps moving, because it was never real to begin with. Capricorn begins to see the cost of the life they've built. They've postponed joy in the name of security. Postponed softness in the name of strength. Postponed being human in the name of survival. And the most painful realization surfaces. They've been loyal to responsibility, but not to themselves. Healing for Capricorn does not come from climbing higher. It does not come from achieving more or tightening control. Healing begins when Capricorn challenges the belief that their worth disappears when they rest. What if stopping doesn't erase everything you've built? What if rest is not collapse? What if being human doesn't make you replaceable? For Capricorn, this thought feels terrifying. Because letting go of control feels like stepping into uncertainty without armor. But slowly, something unexpected happens. They experiment with rest. With asking for help. With being honest about exhaustion. And the world doesn't fall apart. Even after this realization, Capricorn doesn't suddenly become soft or careless. Their nature is still structured. Their ambition still exists. Their discipline remains. But something crucial shifts beneath the surface. They stop measuring their worth only by output. They stop delaying life until everything feels secure enough. Capricorn begins to allow rest not as a reward, but as a necessity. Connection not as an obligation, but as nourishment. And slowly, their strength transforms. It becomes quieter. Less punishing. More sustainable. Capricorn learns that true stability is not built by never falling. It's built by knowing you are allowed to rest, and still be worthy. Capricorn doesn't need to become less disciplined. They need to believe that even on days when they produce nothing, achieve nothing, and hold nothing together, they still belong. And for Capricorn, that belief is not weakness. It is the deepest form of courage they will ever practice.